Book 5-4, baptize them. Don't born niggas with truth, chastise them. It was born out of the booth, supersize them. Put his ass on the diet, energize them. Enterprise for that prize, so they despise me. Niggas always into some shit and say they fly me. Try me, turn aggression to a wild me. It's the high talking, but I doubt that. Highly, probably, would be spitting in front of prison bars. Into repeating ball and talk about my inner scars. In a world where the law is lawless and the black chick on the third floor is gorgeous. I'm saying, I know she look like Gandhi, but bitch got a fat ass. You know she got a fat ass. Yeah. Well, yo, let me go over here and get my medicine and shit. Why the fuck you always out here anyway, nigga? Nigga live outside looking for and shit.
What's happening, Chief?
What up, man?
What's going on, man? You banging. He can rap while I sing, man. What's going on?
I'm saying, I just heard of these guys, Get the music real quick. We're live right now.
Oh, that's what it is?
Yeah. So let me just
do peoples.
Make sure I get everything straight. Let's see. All right. Why does it look like I'm off? All right.
Yeah, I'll be looking at that too. I don't know that's probably the cam. I don't know.
Yeah, like it's throwing me off.
It be looking like it's like crooked or something, like.
Yeah.
And you don't look like you center. I know what you mean. Like.
Yeah, because it's gonna be so far back. All right, that's better. Especially away from my mic. All right. Peace 88 Spencer. Thanks as always for coming through. All right. We're gonna get started with the show in 3, 2. Hold up. Hold up. Let me just get my notes together before we start. Where is it? Turn my damn phone off. Or silent. Okay, good now. All right. 3, 2, 1. What up, y'all? Welcome to a bonus episode, a nighttime episode, if you will, of Hip Hop Now Podcast. I am your host, Vegas, of Hip Hop Now Podcast. And every now and again, I'm trying to do some of these weekly live streams, you know what I'm saying, about different topics, bonus content, whatever it may be, you know what I'm saying, just to stimulate anything other than arguing on Twitter or arguing on social media, period. You know what I'm saying? And I know you're probably watching this like, damn, Vegas doing movie reviews? Just wait. Everything is connected. But joining me, as always, the go-to guy. He's a filmmaker. He's a lifelong hip-hop fan, a movie buff. The homie Ock. What's good, man?
Man, what's happening, man? Everything good, man. Thank you for having me. And like you said, I think it makes sense for this movie review to happen on Hip Hop Now. It makes sense. You got to do that. You got to do that.
Yeah, I just had to grab. This time I didn't have to grab the bat phone and call homie Ock. He grabbed the bat phone, was like, yo, if you want to do something, I'm available. And after watching it, I was like, yeah, I got to do something because I got to talk about this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On a level that we understand. So those watching, whether you're watching the stream on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, feel free to comment. please know we are dealing with spoilers. So if you don't want to know anything, bounce now. Or maybe you one of them crazy people like my kids who like they watch all kinds of spoilers and then go watch the movie. I'm like, what's the point? But some people just rather, they'll still experience it, but they're more interested in the story. And I think with this film, you'll get to see, why people are talking about it and trying to spread the word and telling people to go see it in IMAX in particular. Um, and I'm glad I did, and I'm probably gonna go see it again. To be honest, after watching a couple interviews,
Probably gonna see it again.
right.
Probably gonna see it again. I was thinking the same thing, man. I was talking to my barber. I was telling them about it. Was that yesterday? Today's Monday. I was telling them about it. And yeah, as I was telling them, I was like, yeah, I probably had to go. I probably had to hit back. I probably gotta go back. I probably got double dip.
Yeah, a lot of people said my sister said that she knew she went and pre-ordered the movie after watching it.
Oh wow!
Like, oh, now I need to own this. And
she pre-ordered the hard copy already.
Already, I didn't even know it was available. So
Me?
yeah, I was like, word, okay. But just to get us started, if you don't know, we're talking about the film Sinners that just dropped on April 18th, I think that was. Directed by Ryan Coogler. If you don't know, he did Fruitvale Station, he did Creed, he also did the Black Panther movies that you know about. And this one is original film by him, and we'll get into like his motivations and stuff like that, and obviously about the film later. But it's also starring Michael B. Jordan, who's playing two characters, two twin brothers, Smoke and Stat. This story takes place in the Deep South. And what was this, around the
1930, 1931.
1931. So Klans around, Jim Crow. Uh, Also, there's connections to Chicago and Al Capone and the mob scene over there as well. But I know you're probably thinking to yourself, well, wait a minute, what movie? I saw the trailer. What? Yes, you're talking about a film that is part horror, part gangster flick, part period piece, part musical, and a political statement, all while being a personal story from Ryan Coogler, basically. This is what he talked about. So let's just first get into like the film itself. And what were your thoughts when you saw it? The trailers leading up to it. Well, really, the trailers leading up to it. Then once you saw the film, and just what you thought about it overall, from the acting to the music to everything.
Yeah, so I guess my story with this is I seen the trailer and then I started hearing about the news. But I seen the trailer first, but the news about it or the buzz about it had preceded the trailer because I started talking about it with my film friends, and they were like, "Oh yeah, yep, that's coming out." And I was thinking like, "Oh man, like with one of my particular a co-writer or something I'm working on now, because we're going the supernatural route with what we're working on." And I'm like, damn, well, what did they do this? Like, I hear it's about vampires. Like, I hope it's that instead of like what we trying to do. And he was assuring me that yes, it's vampires. I'm like, you sure? Because I seen that trailer. I'm like, I don't know. Like, it might not be. He like, it's vampires. I'm like, cool. The trailer, I was immediately pulled in. I was pulled in by the photography, and that's film speak, but in regular layman terms, I was pulled in by the shots. You know how larger than life they were just by looking at it on my phone, and I'm like, okay, he going there, like, wide, immersive shots to really give you the setting to pull you in. So I'm like, okay, he's going there with it. And then I started to listen to some of the behind the scenes and some Ryan was saying, and I think that's when I hit you like, yo, the brother's about to work it out, yo. The brothers gonna work it out, man. I think they back with a vengeance. Like, I don't think they playing with this. So that was my initial thoughts going into this. So I had like good expectations. Good expectations. I don't want to say high, but I thought I was in for a good film. And I that's exceeded. You and I spoke about it, and my thoughts were the same. Is that I got more than what I expected. Like, this exceeded expectations and went places where I didn't expect.
Yeah, I was somewhat similar. I think for me, when I saw the first trailer before the other trailers kind of give some things away, but trust me, I mean, if you've seen the movie, you know it's not giving away the heart of what this movie is. But initially when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, they doing like a vampire joint and it's back in the days. And I could tell there was a theme going on there. I just knew that I was interested enough to want to see it. Obviously Ryan Coogler has done a fantastic job, so there was no reason to doubt him. Same thing with Michael B. Jordan. I like you said, I also like the style of it. I didn't know, like everything I know now about how it was filmed. I had none of that in my head as I was watching it. I was just looking at it like, oh, this looks like this is going to be crazy. It's going to be one of the movies. And I just like the premise because it reminded me a lot of what's the Dust Till Dawn? What's that joint?
Dust Till Dawn.
Dust
Robert
Till Dawn.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that. And I always loved the like, yo, we stuck in here and there's like zombies or vampires or the elements trying to get in and we gotta, shoot that window. And like I always loved that because of the tension. And I know that like once I got in there and started watching it, we didn't even get to any vampires. And I was locked into what that movie was before anything popped off.
Right.
Which was crazy. What did you think about, like, because I don't know how many, I can't think off the top of how many films have kind of captured you in one light thinking like, yo, this is a great movie. And then they have that second half or that third act or even second act that just turns it into a different movie. What it actually is one I could think of. Cabin in the Woods. That kind of caught me off guard where I was just kind of like, oh, this is a whole different movie now. But what did you think, like, those first however long minutes that was of just building characters and building, obviously this world?
Yeah, the setup and actually, if you think about the if you think about Dust Till Dawn, or if you haven't watched it recently, if you check it out again, Dust Till Dawn was set up like that too. Like it just, when everything kicked off, it just switched. The switch got flipped, and it's like, oh, we doing this. And I'll say this: with Dust Till Dawn and the time that I saw it, it was easier for that to happen. Right. Because we don't have, it's not today where everything is online. Even with the trailer kind of sets up where we're gonna go. So actually, it was like the reverse effect for me. I was like, oh, so we're gonna spend this time getting to know who our heroes are and what this world is. And Ryan set it up to be so interesting and just did a great job at telling the story about this world. You forget, like, oh yeah, there's vampires out there somewhere.
Right.
You get caught up in, okay, I want to see the brothers build the juke joint. Like, you got the fly ladies, and I'm like, okay, it's about to get, our people, they already at the train station looking extra shiny and skin just popping. I'm like, oh, so what time it is when they get up in the juke joint. So they just did a great job setting that up. And then with the story, or the dialogue, that was another thing that I took away with Delta Slim, and just that dialogue in the car with Stack, Delta Slim, and Preacher Boy. That was just the world building was great. That was great, and I think it was bold. It definitely was taking a chance. And I know that there's probably some people that are like, yeah, I didn't need all that. That took too long. We're the vampires. I think to set up the characters and make this a very human story, I think that it was better for him to do that so we can get the payoff at the end or in the second and third act.
Right. Yeah, because when you think about it, I mean, that's what brings you closer to the film is your connection with the characters. And if you don't know who they are, if they die or if they're in trouble, you don't really have any connection to them. You're not really feeling what they're feeling in those different moments from Preacher Boy to Smoking Stack. Like you don't know them. You know what I'm saying? So speaking of which, like characters, the acting I thought was strong on all levels. Like I felt like everybody played their part to a T. I felt like the dialogue made them feel real. You know what I'm saying? I especially like when they went to like the Asian shop and he like slammed down there. I'm like, what? This Asian dude just straight, like he's a part of the community. You know what I'm saying? And that was again, you're looking like, oh, so they have a really close relationship. They're cool and they're friends. And I just love the way they just built the brothers separately, together, their relationship, the relationship with Preacher Boy, you know what I'm saying, with the town, like in general, and even like the mystery behind, why they left. Well, not so much. I'm talking about in the beginning, it was more of a mystery why they left, but more importantly, why they're back in this way and with all this money and stuff like that. But I think Michael B. Jordan did a excellent job of basically being the lead and having to play these two different characters who had to have, this relationship where after a while, I'm not even going to lie. It wasn't like looking at Michael B. Jordan play two characters. It was literally Smoke and Stack.
It's that. Yes, I agree with you. I agree 100%. And if anything, damn, can the man get his props or get his flowers for that? He
Right.
disappeared. He disappeared into two different people.
Right.
And, really three because of the change. So, I mean, yeah, yes, I agree. Michael B. Jordan did a great job. I ain't gonna hold you. I was actually looking for it. I ain't gonna hold you. I was looking for, can I tell the difference? Can I see the cut and edit? Can I see the flaw in the VFX?
Mhm.
Is it gonna be there? Not so much as I'm trying to be, uh, uh, um, overly critical, but I'm thinking like that's what folks that would probably want this to fail, they're looking for it. So I'm thinking like, all right, is this something going to be that? No, 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 no. They did a great job. Two different people. I mean, even down to its nuance. He didn't overact.
Right.
But you could tell that there was a difference between the two, but they're twins. But you could tell demeanor and disposition. It two different dudes, but
Hmm.
twins. So yes, excellent job on
And they
Michael.
tried to they flexed a little bit in the introduction. They were like, he gonna roll up, he gonna pass it to me, he gonna light it while and you know how sometimes you get that uncanny valley of the hand coming out of the matrix to to hand something to him. You're like, come on, dog, that look fake. Nah, man, they went so far as to not only do that, but like later on, where you know they're fighting each other and you can't tell the difference. Like even in Bill, you know how you get that one scene, be like, oh, that skinny head dude
Right.
with a
We
full beard, like
get the
who's
black exploitation. Like, hold on, yo, he got an afro now. Like,
that? Right, right. Like, wait. Like Michael Jordan moms on what was that? Saturday Night Live, where she had a the stunt double had a full mustache, really with the dunk. Um, but yeah, man, I just thought in general like the acting was excellent. Not only Michael B. Jordan, but all the supporting characters and everybody just played their role to a T and hit their lines like you were basically he was building individual characters who didn't get a lot of screen time, but you felt like you knew them. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I cannot. You know, as by the time we got to Act Two, this was, in my opinion, the interpretation. This is going to come up a lot as we talk about this, but in my interpretation, this was like him, the building of the team.
Right.
That's what was happening in Act One. Like the heroes were building the team. It's almost like a Justice League Avengers situation. Like, I gotta go get him. I gotta go talk to her. But in the context, and I was talking to my wife about this, like this is for them to get off this juke joint. But that's their goal, clear goal. But for them, this is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
That fish got to be fried right. The entertainment got to be right. We want the fly ladies in there. So with that, like, and we're gonna get into this too. I knew or understood exactly it's the building of the team, but it's within this context, this 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 black context of we got to get this party off, we got to build this juke joint, you know. But it was believable, and I think they just did a good job of bringing us along for the ride. Like I gotta go get these special people with these special skills.
Right. And you're right, because in the back of my mind the whole time I'm keeping like, okay, it's a vampire thing, and maybe there's something about each individual that they need them for that. But to your point, that just so happened to based off of character as opposed to, you know, this one can fly and this one can shoot arrows and he turns into a Hulk. It was just more about the character of the individuals being there. Sure, this one plays the piano, been playing the blues forever. Shorty can sing his ass off, and he's, you know, he's the up and coming, and like it was like you had the different skills for the juke joint, but as things started to unravel, they had other skills as far as how they thought about things and moved and all of that. Um, Real quick, if you're watching, this is Hip Hop Now podcast, a bonus episode. Yes, I said Hip Hop Now. I didn't say movie now, nothing like that, but we are getting to that part pretty soon. But before we get into the music and what lies within that, um, Art is a filmmaker, you know what I'm saying? And he's been studying this, he's been creating his own stuff. The cinematography, the film that it was shot on, the multiple versions. Like I watched I watched several today with Ryan Coogler, and one that he had on the Kodak, Kodak's YouTube channel, where he literally broke down the different types of film, the film he used, and then the different ways you can watch this film. And it's to the point, if you can't afford IMAX, he got a version just for you,
Yeah.
just to experience it in the same ways with different films. So I just want you as a filmmaker to speak to what he was doing, you know, what you saw, and like kind of the importance of why Ryan Coogler decided to use film as opposed to going the digital route.
Oh yeah. So my initial thought, I'll get to that in a moment as far as why use film, but as far as the different formats, I'm not gonna hold you up, man. I think he's flexing as far as the different formats. I ain't gonna hold you up. I am kind of looking at that as like from a street perspective. Like, yo, we gonna give you everything, nickels, dimes, 20s, everything. We got it all for sale. Whatever format you need to be able to see it in, I got you. You
Right.
know. But then of course, I got them jumbos. We gonna go see this in IMAX. That's the, if you got the money and you want the full, the big bang experience, go see it in the IMAX, right? But as far as, and I think he was just flexing as far as the different ones. There's probably a better reason, a more politically correct reason. And yeah, I think it's to meet people where they are. Let's put it that way. Let me be politically correct. To meet people where they are, and the studio supported him with that. They believed in his story. They believe where he was trying to go. Warner Brothers has had some issues in the past as far as supporting their filmmakers and people leaving and getting bad press.
Yeah.
So I believe when Ryan came to them with this and they picked it up, they're like, okay, we got to treat Ryan right. We got to do right by him. And so, yeah, I think it was just a great opportunity to meet people where they are with the different formats. I actually seen that as an option. One of the formats where you get like the screen is so large, it expands to the sides and things like that. I saw that as an option here in Maryland. I saw that and I was like, I'm gonna go for the IMAX. So the IMAX would be the straight up and down 4:3 format where the image is like taller.
Right.
So I'm gonna go for that. But they made it taller, wider. They just did it in a way to make the image as big and immersive as possible,
Right.
which makes sense with the landscapes, with what he was saying about the South, to get you to really feel it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense to go for that, the largest format that you can get, that you can put it on. So the other question as far as why film as opposed to digital, my interpretation of that is I think Ryan wanted this story to be timeless, right? And it's not to say that you can't create a timeless story with digital. He was channeling or using the tools that timeless material was built on. And and we're going to get to it in the film, he was bridging the gap. He was seeing the opportunity where, okay, film, timeless movies made on film, but now I could do it this way in the largest way possible. And they're going to give me the resources to do it. I'm going to go for it because that's the story that, and this is going to sound mushy. I hope it doesn't sound corny to people, but I'm just going to say it. But that was a story that was in his heart. So if you got the bread and you got the resources and you got a story in your heart or a song in your heart, you're going to go for it. And you got the skill and the team, you're going to go for it. Why wouldn't you go for it? I'm going to go for it. Like, and I did hear one interview where he talked about being inspired by The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan, The Dark Knight, and that was shot on IMAX. So for those of you watching, if you think of that scene, the bank scene, and we think about when Joker was on the screen for the first time, we didn't see his face yet, but he's standing on the corner with his Joker mask and that dolly, that pushing, and he's just, it's larger than life. It's larger than life. I know we got to move on, but I'm a big Zack Snyder fan. So with his cut of Justice League, that's what he was going for, IMAX 4:3, because he saw the Justice League as larger than life. These are not mortals. Like, this is Batman, this is Wonder Woman, this is Superman. So on the screen, I need to make them look larger than life. So with Ryan, it was the same thing. Like, he felt about his people, where the story comes from, the people of the South that were the creators of the blues. He sees them larger than life.
Right.
So he had to use that format to make it larger than life for us.
I think what's dope about it is you have the story pulling you in, then you have the way it was shot and the performances kind of pulling you into this world, so you're fully immersed. Because, like you said, when they're driving along the road, and I saw it in IMAX as well, and you get this big shot of the road and all the cotton on the side, and then the sky so clear that I could almost feel the air, if that sounds corny. But if you ever been down south or in a place where, like not city like, because I'm from New York City, so we do get sky, if y'all don't know. But like, it's a difference when you go to another place, that, especially if it's more country, the sky is like wide open. You see stars everywhere, so you can see all the details, and then breathing in that air. So watching that, I felt it, like just looking at it, the color palette, everything. It was just perfect. You know what I mean? And I think in a lot of ways, to your point, whether y'all go see this in IMAX or not, I think it was dope for him to have the freedom not only to tell this type of story, which we're about to dig into a second, but also to kind of do it his way, because even though they hit number one spot for the weekend, and they're probably like 30 million away from what they spent to make this, which is 90, and it's really not that much when you consider other films or even television shows, whack television shows, by the way, Star Wars, Acolyte. I think the word of mouth is going to make for another big weekend. I think they about to make that up easy and surpass it, just because of repeat views, right? We like, yo, I'm gonna see it again. My sister like, I'm gonna see it again, and I'm done bought the damn Blu-ray already. You know what I'm saying? So I think for those who haven't, I don't know why you're watching, because there's spoilers here, but I will say this: it was worth it for all the reasons you mentioned. Just visually, the way it looked, like everything looked good. Even in contrast, like the darkness with the vampires. Sometimes I don't like when things are too dark because I'm like, well, who the fuck is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm more so like whatever. Um, but let's get into which will segue into the music also. I was already into the sound design when it started because the first jump scare that wasn't really a jump scare, it's just one of those normal things, you know, somebody regular tap a person on the shoulder and they hit you with the sound. You're like, oh shit, I thought it was vampire already. Like, I thought the sound design was excellent because everything was drawing me in with the music, and I saw it in RPX, so you know the seats got a little rumble to them, and
Oh,
the sound is kind of, it had the spatial audio, so you kind of like who back there, like somebody running, vampires running up on us. So like even with the music and the scoring alone, let alone the performances, it was powerful. You know what I'm saying? Just to experience. Real quick, what did you think about that in general, the soundscaping and sound design?
yeah, I agree. The sound design, the mix, all of that on point, on point. I actually, when my wife and I when we first sat down in the theater, the way the seats that I chose, the speaker was right there, and I
Mm,
was like, damn, like I was hoping that I ain't choose some seats where it's right there because I've been in some theaters where it's like piercing, like
it's too loud.
it's too much. Man, I didn't get none of that. Like, no, like the mixing, it was on point. Like nothing like to hurt your ears, nothing jarring. It was just right. It was just right. And then when we get into the music, it's like, yeah, it's almost like hip hop. It's almost like, yo, the louder you turn it up, the better it's gonna sound.
Mhm.
So yeah, the music. Are we gonna get into the music now, or we were just talking about overall sound design?
Nah, we're gonna get into the music. Well, first and foremost, Hip Hop Now podcast bonus episode. We're talking about sinners, and now is the part where we get into the music and the themes because kind of segueing through sound design into the music, you know, a lot of hand claps and feet stomps, and I could feel them joints. You know what I'm saying? And the way they used it in the music to say, oh shit, vampires are like approaching. So it built the intensity of
Yeah,
some of the scenes, even though it was a song being performed. So, all right, the movie starts, and people watching, the movie starts telling us straight up basically what the heart of this story is beyond what you're going to experience with the characters and their relationships. And it's the power of music, Black music in particular, and conjuring spirits of the past, conjuring spirits of the future. And there's a scene in the film where that actually comes to life as Preacher Boy is performing. You get to see the spirits of the past, including Asian history. When all of that was going down, I know for me, I was sitting there like, because y'all already see what I got on Strata East Spiritual Jazz. It's all black. Look it up, okay? Ownership also. Uh, I was in there. I might have said, "Oh shit,"
yeah,
right out loud. Soon as I saw it, like, is that Parliament Funkadelic in the juke joint?
yeah. When the Parliament funk, when
Right,
that just eat like the camera pan, and he just easing the screen with the, I'm
right,
like, same reaction, like, oh. And
right. Like,
then
oh, this movie dope.
the Brucey B. Noosh, I was like, oh, yeah. I'm like, okay, okay. I guess, mesmerized. He said, to pimp a butterfly moment. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was. I'll say this: I was locked in. I was locked in. I had to just. I couldn't turn away from the
Mm.
screen. I mean, I'm in a theater. I shouldn't be turning away. But at this point, like I'm just locked in. I am here now, or it felt like I was there, and I want to know what is going to go to next. And
Mm.
so what he did with the camera going from different parts of the club and or the juke joint, and then revealing the different chronological parts to our music history. It, it was crazy. It was like, damn, is this some euphoric? Do I say that? That was just crazy. It was
Right.
crazy to see it, and again how he moved that camera and reveal, because a lot with filmmaking is about that, the reveal. Like, how do you bring it to the screen, and like the camera movement, and then the subtlety. Sometimes it's, they'll just appear from the side. Like, I believe with the Asian um the like the opera, those Asian dancers, like I think they just came from the side, and then all of a sudden a ballet chick came running from the back. I'm like, yo, what's so yeah, man, immersive. I know that's probably going to be the buzzword moving forward. Immersive. I know a few months ago it was diabolical for Kendrick. I think the new immersive. Like, yeah. What did you think? What did you think? What was your?
It again, the moment surprised me. It exceeded what I thought I was going to see once it jumped off, because the camera panning through like that, it felt like it was saying a lot, even though they set it up in the very beginning, but it was saying more with the visual of, this is Delta Blues, and these are the extensions, you know what I'm saying, past and present, including Africa, you know what I'm saying? And obviously other art forms like jazz and hip hop was there, obviously. I did at the end, I was like, oh, they got Bloods in the gambling area? Like, because I saw that part. I was like, yo. Uh, and I just didn't expect it, but watching Ryan Coogler talk about it and talk about how he thought about the blues through his uncle, who kind of helped to inspire this scene when his uncle passed. He kind of deep dived into the blues and understood the connections between Delta blues being the heart of everything that's in American music, from rock to funk to dance. Like, everything we do is like, this is the heart. Now, some will argue, because there was a um, there was a radio special that came out years ago, that was produced, and it was like syndicated, and it was about gospel music being the root, which we all know, right? You don't get the blues without gospel. Like, gospel's kind of the root, but the blues is the one that fathered hip hop. If you think about the lyrics, you
Yeah,
know,
that's what made it secular.
right? That
Yeah,
is
that's what made it. I guess the sinners. That's
right.
what brought it to the streets. That's what.
Sinners, like, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
it was just one. It's just one of those things where it was so layered, and me and my wife were like, I don't even think we were watching the volume of our voices at that point in time as we started pointing shit out. I know somebody would be like, God damn, we could see you, shut the fuck up, this is ballet. But we were just calling out everything like, oh, yo, this and that. Um, but even more than just a scene, uh, what this film represented musically and what it was saying at that point in time, and really why we tie it to hip hop. Talk a little bit about what we know we both walked away with the statement under the statement. It wasn't just a celebration of black music. No, he was making a statement about black music. So it's about to get real black right now, okay? If you couldn't tell already.
Yeah. One thing before I get into it, before we I guess the gear about to switch now. This is the point in the podcast where but when I was leaving the barbershop yesterday, I thought I was, thinking about the film, and I was thinking like, yo, that joint is almost like the like if somebody took that Nas song from back in the day, the Bridging the Gap, and like made a whole movie out of it. And then today, like yo, you put that as far as the promo music for this. So I'm like, there's Vegas, like, yo, I was thinking the same thing. But as far as all right, let's take it there, yo. These are my interpretations. So let's see. I'm wondering if you were thinking the same thing. So yeah, black music, the influence of black music, and yeah, y'all got that influence, and yo, we need that sauce. We gonna need that. So we at your door. What's up? We gonna need that. Him right there. That's the one that was singing. Oh, we need that sauce. We need that sauce. I'm gonna give you. Yo, we down. Like we got sauce. We can show you. We can show you what we could do, and they get you get a demonstration of what could possibly have influenced. You get a demonstration of what things would be like without the blues. We get the contrast.
Right.
We get it. Like we got the big celebration, and then we got a demonstration of what it would be. And it's a celebration of all cultures, but it's still we need that sauce though. And we're gonna be out here until we can get to that. We need we need that. We need that. And so my interpretation of that was, to me, that's like the commercialization of black music, um, the record industry in its relationship with black music. That's how I saw the Vampires in that context when they were knocking on the door talking about that was him singing.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, we need to get together. You need to get with us. We can make this big. That's what I got from it. How about you? Oh man, you froze? Or did I freeze?
I think I froze.
Okay.
Am I coming back slowly?
Yeah, you back.
My signal dropped a little bit. One of the things I thought about was that scene that we just described, as far as like the musical performance and this big sprawling. You can see it from the past, future, different cultures. Everything was pure inside this place. And then as soon as you're coming down from euphoria, so to speak, they right at the door. Hey, y'all having a party in here? Let us in. We brought our guitars.
We got money.
We got money, right? All these different things, and it's trying to tempt them out. And which one was it? Was it Stack? That was kind of like that music sounds kind of good. Like he was
Oh
being
yeah.
tempted by it. Like they got money, blah blah blah. But Smoke like, nah, go perform out there with the cars. Yep, we'll be out here. And don't get me wrong. I can't remember the actor's name, but his performance was excellent also. As far as like the temptation and stuff they talked about, them clans people, they were coming to kill y'all.
Oh, you talking about well, Remick was his name in the movie, the villain.
Remick, yeah.
Yeah.
I just think they did an excellent job of portraying that role and the symbolism, to your point, musically, where it was kind of like, what's wrong what's already happening here. We don't really need you. Like you said earlier, we went and got all the people we need. We never came looking for you.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But here you are. And the irony, because if anybody knows the music industry, the irony of it being bloodsuckers that want to take control of everything that's happening and all the people in there and the music and the golden child and this dude just want to take over all of it. If you didn't know, colonizing was happening in a horror fucking movie.
Mm.
Colonizing, you heard, Kendrick say, it made me think in a weird way. It made me think about the battle, right? And that one line, you make music that pacify him, I make music that electrify him. That's exactly what we kind of watched. It wasn't that the music they were making were bad. It was just, you don't feel that when Preacher Boy started hitting that note, pointing to the sky, and then you see in hip hop and funk and ballet and all this black excellence just leaping all over the damn place. And right at the door, hey, y'all having a party in here? Let us in. So yeah, when that happened, I was like, I kind of had that look, that proud look when you be like, look what these brothers are doing. Like they
Yeah.
doing it again. Like with Black Panther, when we was getting, like, just a short example for certain people off to the side, but related. Like in Black Panther, where I knew it was deeper than just the typical, hey, black people need to be free. When they talked about the relationship between Africans and African Americans, I was like, oh, this is only a black person had to be in the room for this, because this is nothing a bunch of producers, from other cultures can come up with. You have to know, and
Yes.
that's a deep one. You know what I'm saying? So I felt
Yeah.
like in a lot of ways when I saw that, I was like, I got to see this again, even at that moment, because I feel like I might have been missing things. It was so layered.
Yeah.
Um,
But point of view, man. Like, yeah, and that's what I really, really enjoyed. And we see this, and we're going to hear this in a lot of interviews, or a lot of folks will probably say the same thing. I'm just going to say it here too. Is that yeah, Ryan's point of view. Like it's the same with this. This isn't a committee. You can't just, all right, yeah, we're gonna. It has to come from a specific point of view to get this, to be put on the screen, to write this. It's it's your point of view. Anybody can't just go and make what he made. It doesn't work like that. Now, again, to the point of view that he has is shared by a lot a lot of black folks, a lot of black people. So that's why it works and it resonates and you feel it, right?
mhm.
But that's him having the point of view and the skill set and the resources to be able to go and execute, and the team. And again, it's not, and for white folks that are listening or watching, like, again, it was a celebration of all culture, uh, but particularly from his point of view, black culture. And you know, uh, even when it comes down to the music, and there was a Swedish dude that was involved. A good friend of his from film school. He's a Swedish dude. He did the soundtrack for Black Panther. I believe won the score. I'm sorry, the score, because
Right.
Kendrick did the soundtrack for Black Panther, but he did the score, Ludwig, and got an Oscar for it. He also did the score for like Tenet. He did the score for Oppenheimer.
Mm.
So, and I was looking at an interview with them, and Ryan was talking about the time as they were filming where he had Ludwig and Ludwig's father, and they're from Sweden.
Mm.
But he had them in Mississippi, and Ludwig's father was like coming to tears because he's in the spot where music that influenced him. You know
Mm.
what I mean? He's right where like it was created. So again, it's a celebration of all cultures, but just keeping it 100% about where the sauce come from. That's what we doing.
And
That's what we doing.
that
And
was
it
the
is what it is.
right. That was like and not, obviously not for just that scene, but that was kind of the underlying message because I mentioned earlier, it's a period piece, gangster flick, horror, and when I said political statement, I was talking about the fact that he's making a statement about, like I said, the origins of music. As we know it today, with all the different genres we love, everything spun off from the sinners, right? Gospel, in a lot of ways, when it comes to American music, it's the heart of everything we've created, but blues was the one that separated itself, that told the stories. You don't have country without blues because they're very similar. They them damn vampires that was outside the outside the juke joint, like, hey, who that was him? Like, I like them stories, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But again, it's fine because all of it is coming from this history. But truth be told, like we said, with hip hop and storytelling and lyrics, and again, storytelling in Africa and in different ways of expression. I like the fact that they had dance in that scene. So a lot of it spoke on so many different levels that you're sitting here and you're thinking like, damn, but it's still like a horror movie's about to go down. And I'm getting all these things about picking cotton and dudes being in jail and, like Delroy Lindo, he always come to act.
Yeah.
But first of all, the man looked the same since like Clockers.
Since Clockers.
You know what I'm saying? That's one. And when they rolled up, this is he's from the Caribbean, right? Like, yo, his accent was perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was perfect. You couldn't tell me this ain't a dude who been playing the blues all his life and all he do is drink. That part
Right.
was funny too. Like, he was just like, let me cut myself so the vampires can come, get the gat, and hold up. Let me get some more of this Irish whiskey in my system, and let's go. It was just one of those things where like we said earlier, the character building just helped with all the different scenes, even from the vampire's point of view, the way he rolled up on the couple, right? But and I know this doesn't have anything to do with music, but this is how me and Ock talk, so we ain't putting the front on. But when the Native Americans rolled up, like, we already know what they are. He in there? They like, yo, it's about to get dark. All right, is he in there? Okay,
Right.
we out.
We
Like,
told you. We tried to, cause we here.
right, right,
The whole squad. Like, I think he might be in there, but okay.
right. Like, don't be afraid, but if you just look, you can't help yourself. You looking at who we are and who you are. Okay, you already done ate and bit the damn husband already. But doubling back to the music, and I kind of wanted to make this statement, and this is the reason why we are doing this on a hip hop podcast, because hip hop is the number one streamed genre in the world, hands down. You know what I'm saying? Again, we witnessed a battle last year that probably for the first time as a hip hop head, I'm like, damn, the world is kind of keeping track of this, as opposed to, you know, the hip hop heads or those who know those MCs. Like typically there was layers, and Jay-Z and Nas wasn't on that level because obviously there wasn't no social media like that to help spread and have people discuss and, you know, break down lyrics so people can understand what was happening. And again, when you look at a film like this and that particular scene about the roots of music, and knowing where hip hop is today and having a clash like that, where, let's just be honest, it came down to purity and manufactured hip hop. I'm not trying to call Drake a vampire, but let's just say his music and his goals and what he did was more representative of a machine than Kendrick's was more representative of a legacy, right? Like mentioned earlier, To Pimp a Butterfly is that. It's that whole juke joint of people bouncing around and funk and all of that. So I kind of felt like, damn, Ryan Coogler on the low is saying this is the type of music that matters. The source, like you said, the sauce, right? The sauce is what matters. What's outside of that doesn't really matter. You see it's destructive. You see what its only goal is. What do you think about how this film can relate to those who love hip hop, who talk hip hop, who definitely talk about the history and the legacy and lineage of hip hop as it relates to other genres like jazz and blues and all of that? What do you hope, at least, because we all can hope, that someone out there who's writing music for hip hop who may be looking for inspiration, do you think they can find it in a film like this that has a layer that speaks directly to the music?
Yo, man, I think with your question, I like to talk about that post or the mid credits scene. I think that speaks to your question and what Ryan was saying about the music. I think Ryan was saying, even though he didn't go as contemporary as 2025,
Mm-hmm.
I think in 1992, Ryan is saying that this is where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
This is where this is the this is where we've landed from Preacher Boy and what he was doing, and now he's still around, and this is where we are now. It's hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
It's hip hop and Stack and the Full Finger Ring, and he got his B girl with him.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we are now. I got the money, I got the bread, and if we want to take it there. We want to get political. I got my white girl. I'm ready. I'm good. I made it. And then what Preacher Boy asked him, like, what are your thoughts now, though? Like, almost like along the lines of, was it worth it? Like, what from then to now, like, what are your thoughts? What do you think? And Stat kept it 100. Like, before this kicked off, that was it. That was the best time of my life. It is what it is now. I'm enjoying, I'm living, I'm around, I'm doing, you see me, I'm out here, I'm doing my thing. But when he asked him to keep it 100, he was like, that was the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then even Stack said something about, yeah, the real. So all that spoke to me. I was like, oh man, like he really. So I think Ryan was speaking to that, answering your question in that way. Like, the ball is in hip hop's court. Like, we got it. what do you want to do with it? We got it. This is where it came from. Now that you know, what do you want to do with it now? It could be that, or it could be that the commercialism is taking it over and it's too late. He could be saying either one of those things. I think it's ambiguous. I think it's up to interpretation, but that was my interpretation of it, and that's how I would answer your question. If anything, those folks that want to be inspired that do hip hop music today, I think that last scene. Watch the whole movie, but that last scene is definitely the takeaway. Oh wow, damn.
Yeah, like, and I agree. I think for me, the interpretation was the choice, right? Like you said, Stack represents one choice. I live forever as a vampire. Everybody I know is dead. Everything I love is dead. Even his comment about not really liking the electronic guitar, he want to hear the real. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where the soul is and stuff like that. And it was like him remembering the essence. And Preacher Boy represented someone who stayed the course. Again, I'm not trying to make Drake a vampire, but I'm just using the battle as it's two separate sides of a coin. Like, yeah, there's a lot to enjoy on that other side. There's money and all those different things, but there's the things he missed. And he doesn't have a better day than the day before that happened to him. And Preacher Boy is like, my life has been full, and pure. So I agree, man. When that scene happened, at first I was like, whoa, is it a true story? Like, who was that? Like,
That's what my wife said. Like this. Wait, and I'm like,
right,
okay, Ali, there weren't any vampires, so we
right,
got it.
right. Like, hold on. What you mean you here now with the scratch? Um, but yeah, it just when that scene went down, the dialogue, like, and for those who don't know, because there was people like you told me, I told Mary, which is my wife, yeah, I told her like, yeah, don't move. Like, there's two ending credit scenes. And I saw people, standing in the aisle. They wound up missing the one at the end. But that conversation between Stack and Preacher Boy and um, them just almost like a short, brief interview with a vampire talking about, like, is it worth it? And, Preacher Boy, like, I'm ready to go. I'm kind of tired of this place.
Yeah, that was yeah.
I've done what I'm supposed to do and kept it going. And at the same time, I guess when you think about the lead vampire dying, but you have Stack and his girl around, they become the leads. And in a lot of ways, in the black community, you know this, there's always that black person, right? What we said about the white people trying to get in, or the vampires, sorry, but they were white. Trying to get into the juke joint, trying to be invited, trying to get the source, we need him, and blah, blah, blah. And now you have a black character who's leading that same charge, so to speak, to bring people in. And it's just something that happens. It happens in the music industry. If you've looked at Unsung on forget the channel now.
VH1. Oh no,
V
no, no.
it was
One.
one,
Damn, I'm forgetting the two. One. It's
something like that.
the Kathy Hughes joint. One.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
But if you've seen Unsung, typically there's the celebrated pure half of the episode where the hits are hitting and the songs are being written and they're big stars and blah blah blah. And then there's the we don't own our masters, I don't have no money, I don't get any of the things I put my heart and soul into when things were just pure. Because I remember watching like Ohio Players, and you see the difference between when they're talking about the creation of the music and becoming popular versus when they realize the business was in control of everything they had to do, and they have nothing now. So I just kind of walked away with there's all these different choices these characters have to make. And everybody's making a choice, and some turn out to be great. Some really just turned out to really be like two people left from, or three people from that situation. So I just think in general, I like wait, what did he say? I like that he put Buddy Guy playing Sammy. Yeah. Um oh wait, what was it this? Oh yeah, at the end.
Yeah, he's a real. So it wasn't a true story, but that was a real blues player.
Right.
You know, the brother that played Sammy at the end, older version of Sammy.
Right. Yeah, which was I believe was in the credits because I went to look at that when it was happening. Like, who is that? Because he seemed like a real musician and not someone playing a musician. But lastly, any where do you think things go from here from a film standpoint? Like I'm seeing a lot of, and this is not just from black folks or platforms, even just people in the film industry saying Ryan Coogler saved cinema. He might have just saved cinema. And I think they're referring more to using the film instead of digital and really make it, and more importantly, an original story. Because that's kind of the problem today. It's either use superheroes or use sequels or remakes. And what do you think about that going forward, based off of like 1 week of the movie being out?
Oh well, I mean, jokingly, I think that in my romanticized mind, I would say that's the mission that they were on. Like, yo, we about to the brothers roll up our sleeves. We got to do it. We always got to do it. So we back. We're gonna do it again. When I say do it again, we've seen this before. We've seen Marvel almost gone, and then from the depths, the brother came out with the shades and the black trench coat, and now we have whole cinematic universes. But the brother had to kick it off with the sauce. The sauce reappears again.
Right.
Now
And
again, my
you can't follow. He's talking about Blade.
Blade.
Blade was before it
Wesley,
all.
the dark skinned brothers,
Right. Killing vampires. How about that?
vampires. Exactly. But yeah, my romanticized mind, I would say, wow, yeah, this I could see this being the movie to do it if it was going to be done, because it's a true cinematic experience. Like I personally think you have to see this on IMAX. You gotta, and you don't have that theater at your house, so you gotta get a ticket and you gotta go to get the full experience. And if people agree, then it's like, let's continue with that momentum. Let's make some more good movies and things that folks, you got to go to the theater to see it. Let's put more thought behind the stories that we're attempting to tell. That's not to say everybody's got to go, have this deep multi-layer, double, triple entendre. If that's not your thing, okay, I get it. But it's just like the level of effort, this effort. Like you make something that's worth, like, we got to go spend our money. And that's, the brothers at the barbershop, like I was really trying to get them to, and I think they was like, oh yeah, we gonna go see it. while they were like, yo, we can pull it up right now. We going if it's a clear copy, I'm like, yo, no, like, don't. And it's like they were so interested in what I had to say. They like, oh, let's put it on right now. And I'm like, nah, yo, like, I would suggest you go go see it. So we'll see. We'll see. Again, I romanticize it. I would think like, where history shows later down the line, Sinners was the one. We'll see. I know, what was it? Christopher Nolan, he cracked $1 billion, and I think Barbie did the same.
Yep.
So would we put that all on Sinners? Yeah, probably not. That's why I say in my romanticized mind. But when we're talking about genre films and cinema, Barbie, Oppenheimer, yes, they're movies that is meant for the big screen. But when we're talking about, like you said, the suspense and the reason you go, like you talking to the screen, and I guess that feeling of, I guess, just your youth coming back and like having that feeling of anticipating what's going to happen next on the big screen, restoring that. And it's not like almost like this docudrama, and it's not like this whole, feminist propaganda type of, it's like a genuine, now there are themes and there's like, social commentary within it. But at the end of the day, they did kill some vampires and kill some villains. And we rooted for the hero, but it's like giving us both. And we felt good about the dancing and we thoroughly entertained. If we can just get more of that, then yeah, perhaps they could save cinema, or at least I would say, the brothers make a major contribution towards it, at
Yeah.
minimum. At minimum.
Yeah, because a lot of what you see now with certain films during the trailers or the commercials, you'll see like only in theaters, right? Just to let people know you can't stream it yet, blah, blah, blah. But I think what's great about this is we're the people saying, nah, you can't pull it up on your Fire Stick. You can't. The experience, you have to experience it the way it was shot. Like it's just going to have a greater impact on you. Again, we talked about the sound design and being in theaters that take advantage of that, right? Me being in RBX where the seats rumble, so when they're doing the hand claps and the stomping their feet to their feet to the music, it's building the intensity in us because we can literally feel it. You know what I'm saying?
And that score.
My couch don't got that. My couch don't got that. It ain't got no
No,
rumbling. Like
no. And here's the other thing. They sneak that, in my opinion, they sneak the rock and roll in there with the score. When them vampire, when the motif comes back, the motif reoccurs when it's about to get real. The way the guitar and the drums hit and the bass hit, that's like how they got the rock and roll part in there. It's like just firing on all cylinders, and it's a theater experience. I just couldn't imagine just the phone, like, nah. Like, if my wife was even saying, like, this is not, when I told her the story about the barbershop, she was just like, nah, they would be doing themselves a disservice. This is not like something you just put in the background and kind of let it play while you're working. After you've seen it, maybe once or twice, sure. But the first time, nah, you gotta be locked in. You gotta be locked in.
it brings back memories of when the first Avatar came out, and it was like, and this is pre-pandemic, And I'm thinking, well, 4K, Blu-ray drop, I'll watch it there. It'll look just as beautiful. But people's like, nah, you see it in 3D, it's like the world is alive. And you're watching it at the same time. Like the 3D was so excellent, which it was, because it was unbelievable. And I feel like with this film, again, the cinematography, the landscapes, the acting, the dialogue between characters, the character building, the relationships, like even when in and if you've been watching this long and don't know spoilers, I feel sorry for you. But even when Smoke breaks into the back room, sees his brother laying there with blood shooting out his neck and homegirl's teeth in her eyes, and he just unloads the clip. Like, even the sound of the gunshots were different than I'm used to, because it's like they used typical sounds as tools, like you mentioned, to build intensity, to jump scare you, to feel a kind of way. And when he went and lit her up with like 100 bullets from both guns, and you talked about enjoying in the theater, probably the first time in a long time, somebody out the back was like, "Yeah, kill that bitch. I don't live in the hood no more." So I was like, shit, like, yo. It was crazy, but that's kind of how you felt, right? Like, yo, you cared for the character, you know what I'm saying? And now, like, it didn't matter if she was half black, a little bit black, but it was just kill that bitch.
Get her out of here. Get her out of here. Yeah, we got a similar moment, and this was a subtle moment. This was subtle. This wasn't even as grand. But just the whole, when the party was kicking off and you had the brother at the bar and he's getting the bar and he looking at the look and he's like, oh man, y'all some fancy niggas up in here. Ain't that just it's like the way that it just hit and the timing.
Right.
You know what I mean? That, and again, like I ain't in the hood. This was Columbia, Maryland, but a lot of black folks and white folks was in there too. But it's just the way the timing hit. You can't help. It's just funny, like
because it was real. It's real, right?
right. And that with the setting and everything, for somebody to just say that, it's just organic. Like, of course he gonna say that,
Right.
and of course we kind of agree, like, yeah, I guess they is fancy up here, or at least they think they is.
Right. Like, he probably been to a couple juke joints, and he just like, yeah, let me get Henny, and oh, y'all got Louis, like y'all got all this in it. Okay, I thought it was just Henny and Crown Royal all night. So yeah, I think, like, in general, just to kind of wrap it up, obviously it's a fantastic movie. Just in general, if you like vampires, there's some vampire shit in here for you. There's scenes that they didn't have to explain everything, or this person's about to get attacked. There were scenes where it was just, oh, y'all white folks can go. Shorty was like, y'all can just go or whatever, because I'm gonna go back and blah blah blah. And Lee Vampire put the guitar down, the banjo down, like, no, you don't. And just leave, but you don't see him attack her, nothing. You just know she gone.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And just one other scene, just from an action standpoint, because there was a horror part, but there was a lot of like dope action on some almost John Wick reflexes, I should say, because like when the dude who was playing the bouncer was at the door, first of all, his dialogue was fucking hilarious. Just, man, let me in. Okay, can I get my money? And the way he kind of kept his hand like away from the door, but right here. And everybody knew as soon as he handed him that bread, he gonna try to bite him. And I remember my wife was like, "Did he get bit?" I was like, "You ain't seen Smoke just easily pull his gun out, bust him in the head, like,
yeah."
for the teeth
He pausing for with the gun, like,
right, like, you ain't biting me, nigga, bang. And the other scene, because I know I said one more scene, but I knew I was talking loud at some point. I was back in the ghetto at that point. It was just like, yo, Vegas is, yo, these niggas just talking over there. When I forget the character's name, so forgive me, the Asian wife, she was feeling some kind of way because her husband's out there. She know he's with them, and
Mhm.
she just yells out like come on in here, motherfuckers. And I was like,
Yeah,
shit, like,
yeah, everybody. Yeah, I was like, oh man, but it got to kick off. It got to kick off, and here we go. And even the way that she went out,
yeah,
that was crazy. The
yeah,
way that she went out, that was crazy. That
yeah.
was crazy. That was crazy. And I'm like, are you trying to make some political statements with this too? Was that an Asian? Was that Hanoi? Didn't somebody like self-sacrifice that way? Was that
Yeah.
Asian? I thought it might have been India.
I think I don't remember which country it was. It wasn't Indian, but it was definitely someone of Asian descent.
Yeah,
That, that they
I
set
gotta
a
I
fire.
gotta look it up now. I gotta go ahead and see.
Yeah,
I
it's
gotta
the cover of Rage Against the Machine's second album, I think. Um,
yeah, it's a protest.
yeah, in protest, which is
Yeah, it was it was a Buddhist monk in Saigon.
okay. In Saigon. All right, that's what it was.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there was some symbolism there. And then again, like we said before, think about what her husband represented as being a vampire, right? And what going to Smoke's girlfriend saying about basically don't let them take me, free me. If I get bit, stake me in the heart. So her doing that to her husband was almost like we both gone. I'ma free him, and then I'ma just go be with him because there's just no way to do all of this. It
Yeah.
was just it again, y'all. Trust me, it is. If you haven't seen it, if you ain't catch everything, we going back to see it. You can believe that. Even if my wife already said she want to see it again, so I know I can't go dolo because I will go dolo. Like, I'm not one of them dudes like I need friends. Nah, I'll be like popcorn, chicken and soda. Mm.
I missed that last
Right.
topic.
I didn't catch that. I'll be talking to myself, looking at people like, yeah, crazy. Oh, you're on a date. My bad. I've been married for years, dog. Trust me, I don't care. But you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those films where I love that this exists today where you can get films that are layered in this way and all these different meanings, and some of it is coming from his story, but all of it's like related. And I think the trailers don't do it as much justice. But I love the fact that I see online where people are like, yo, it's literally trending. Go see this movie.
Mm,
Uh,
that's dope.
Pedro Pascal tweeted and on his IG said, shut the fuck up and go see this movie.
Wow.
While
Wow.
he was in a picture of him going or coming out of the theater, one or the other.
Mm,
You don't know that's the Mandalorian, that's Joe from The Last of Us on HBO, that's Mr.
Mr. Fantastic.
Fantastic. He said, shut the fuck up and go see this movie. And it's not even about being woke or nothing. If you watch this and you don't feel it, you a fucking vampire. You gotta be.
He got no soul.
You ain't got no soul. You gotta be. No way you on this earth. And looking at something like that and not saying whatever. I want to thank you for, as always, joining me on this live stream, helping break some of this stuff down, especially the cinematography, the musical side of it. Obviously, that's why we talked about it here on Hip Hop Now podcast. You can visit, actually, in the description of this episode, once it's up, I'll put where you can link to what Ock does. But if you could talk really quick about some of the things you're doing, your motivations, you kind of touched on it a little bit.
Oh man, well, right now I'm in right mode, man. And now I gotta like come down off of this high from seeing this, and I gotta get myself together and get back to the script that me and my partner are working on. And yeah, again, I've done short films. You can go check them out, 97media.org. And as of right now, it's regular work right now. It's regular work to raise money to go do, the films, the narrative films. Let's put it that way. But yeah, right now working on a project. It's supernatural. It's
Mm.
got that vibe to it. But it's, of course, because I don't have the bread, it's not a big period piece or anything like that. Um, but yeah, it's one thing that I think is important when it comes to filmmaking is point of view. So what I'm working on right now definitely, um, has my point of view, and as well as who I'm writing this with, young brother named Elijah. Uh, so yeah, that's all I can say for right now. Just want to finish the script. Like I don't like to do a lot of talking of things that are just in development. Like I want to
Right.
finish it, and then I want to start, pre-production and getting the money together. So to get my stuff on a big screen.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, man. So that's it, man. Just writing and doing my best uh, I want to do my best to contribute to the art form too. To contribute to, because I quite honestly I think with filmmaking, to me, that's like art on all firing on all cylinders.
Hmm.
I mean, that's visual, that's music. It's it's 4D almost, but it's in a 2D format, so it's crazy. But yeah, that's how I feel about it as far as art wise, because you have a picture, so that's a painting, right?
Right.
That's a picture. But then it's moving, so that's motion picture. How you capture it, that's the photography. Then you got to score it. That's the music. So it's just like, and then teamwork, because you got all these folks that got to contribute towards getting it done. It's like art at its, to me, at its highest. There's the written word. I forgot about that piece. You don't have any of that without the written word. It
Right.
starts with the written word. You don't got any. If it's not on the page, it's not on the stage. There's
Right.
nothing on the screen without what's written. You know. So yeah, man. So that's where I devoting a lot of my time to lately.
That's dope, man. It's dope. Thank you for watching. Thank you for checking in with us, staying up with us, all that good stuff. Definitely leave your thoughts about the film, its connections to music, black music in particular, but all music genres, because in a lot of ways it was covered in different ways in this film, which a lot of people don't think that's what this is. They just see the vampires and the juke joint, but it's
Yeah,
so much bigger than that. So many layered messages. So we felt like it made sense for a podcast that's about music and culture and is directly connected to some of the themes that are here in this film. It was only right that we, take some time to break that down and talk about it. And definitely, if you enjoyed the film enough, go see it again. Go see it in another format because they've covered everything. Like literally everything. You can literally go to a different screen and with a different screen and see it in an entire different way just because of how they made sure it was made for every screen. It almost was like every screen possible, you know, or at least at least where you would want to go, including in the hood, because he made sure to point that out across America, not just Oakland where he's from. So hit the like button if you like this, subscribe if you love this episode, but more importantly, share with people you know enjoy this kind of content. Until next time, y'all, I am your host, Vegas. This is the homie Ak. Go out and support the film centers. And remember, we're not critics, we're just fans of it all. Peace.